This is going to be a video on my Monkees vinyl collection. The Monkees were a band that I first became exposed to in the 1980s when MTV ran a Sunday marathon of all the Monkees TV show episodes. And I remember just falling in love with the music, falling in love with the TV show, and after that I was just all about the Monkees. I bought a couple of their greatest hits on cassette and then just started buying their albums when they were reissued by Rhino Records. Since that time, I've got kind of a mixture of the reissues and some of the Cold Gems pressings of their albums. So I'll just show you what I have and what's part of my collection. This is the debut Monkees album, which has, of course, the Monkees theme. It's got Last Train to Clarksville. It's got Papa Jean's Blues, Take a Giant Step. A lot of these songs ended up in the TV series and are, I think, familiar to most Monkees fans. And this, it doesn't say, this is a mono pressing. It's always tough to tell because I don't know that the sleeves always say whether or not it's stereo or mono. This is more of the Monkees. And the famous story about this one is that the Monkees didn't even know that this album was being put together until they happened to see it in a record store, and they were appalled, and that's one of the things that caused them to sever their relationship with Don Kirshner. This, of course, has the smash hit I'm a Believer. It's also got She, which is a great song. Your Auntie Griselda, I'm Not Your Stepping Stone, which is just a fantastic song. Sometime in the Morning, another great song. This is another mono pressing. And this cover always reminded me of the Beatles' Rubber Soul a little bit, just how it's kind of out in the middle of the woods somewhere. This is their third album, Headquarters, which of course they play all the instruments on and wrote most of the material for. This is another mono pressing. And I really like this album a lot. It's got a very much a garage rock feel to it. You Told Me is one of my favorite Monkee songs. I also like Forget That Girl, You Just May Be the One. And some of the deeper tracks on here are some of my favorite kind of unheralded Monkees tracks. I really like the song Early Morning Blues and Greens. I Can't Get Her Off My Mind is one of my favorite Davy songs. It's just kind of got a tacky piano on it. Randy Scow's Get is a great album closer. Just a really solid album and just kind of a rough feel to it as the band were. Some of, you know, Davy, Mickey was learning to, you know, kind of struggling a little bit on the drums, but played competently enough. And of course, Mike and Peter got to shine. They were the true musicians of the group. So, you know, I think really a satisfying album. This is the Rhino reissue with the hype sticker on it. And this photograph here is different than the one on my Cold Gems pressing. And then maybe my favorite Monkees album is Pisces, Aquarius, Capricorn, and Jones Limited. This is the Rhino reissue. And the Rhino label looks very similar to the Cold Gems. And one of the things that Rhino had were these sleeves with other Rhino releases that you could purchase. Of course, the Rhino label there. And I remember just being so excited when those albums came back into the shops because they'd been out of print for so long. The only thing that was available for a while were the greatest hits albums. So when those Rhino releases came out, I tried to buy up as many of them as I could. This is the Birds, the Bees, and the Monkees, still in the shrink wrap. This one was $3 and looks like it was 57 cents at Kmart back in the day. Of course, this is kind of a, I don't know, it's a pretty inconsistent album. This was all four Monkees in different studios with different producers. Some of the material was original. I feel like this is one of Mike Nesmith's strongest albums just because his compositions, I feel, are just, they're very diverse, but they're also very enjoyable. You've got Valerie, which they stuck on this album. I'll Be Back Upon My Feet, which had been in the TV series, but they kind of gave it an updated sound for this album. It's got Daydream Believer that finally found a home here. Tapioca Tundra, I feel, is one of Mike Nesmith's strongest songs. And Auntie's Municipal Court is another favorite song of mine. And this is a stereo Cold Gems pressing. Seems like the mono for the early Monkees albums were harder to, or they were easier to find than the stereo, with the exception of Birds of Bees and the Monkees. Mono is a little bit rare. I think the mixes are noticeably different, but the only album that I've been able to find has been the stereo copy. This is another Rhino reissue, again with the hype sticker there. There's a little bit of a darker border, and the picture is a little bit darker on this Rhino reissue. And then the Head soundtrack, this is a reissue with the hype sticker there. I really enjoy this soundtrack. I know there's only really about 6 tracks on here, and the rest is just kind of incidental dialogue from the film and some music. But I really do enjoy it. I love the songs that are on here. I feel like Porpoise Song is great. I love Circle Sky. I love Can You Dig It? As We Go Along. This is, you know, as I said about Birds of Bees and the Monkees, that was a really strong Mike album. I feel like Peter really shines on here because both of his compositions, Can You Dig It? And I love Do I Have to Do This All Over Again? I feel like it's a really strong slice of electric guitar, psychedelia. And then Daddy's Song, the Harry Nilsson cover, I really enjoy that too. And I like how it's done in the movie, the little dance sequence there. And then there were 3, the Monkees Instant Replay. This is a Rhino reissue. And this has Through the Looking Glass, which kind of reminds me a little bit of Strawberry Fields somewhat with the strings and whatnot. I like I Won't Be the Same Without Her, which actually dates back to the more of the Monkees sessions. You and I, which features Neil Young on electric guitar. Teardrop City, which is almost a Last Train to Clarksville clone. And Don't Wait for Me is a great Mike Nesmith country rocker. The rest of the Davy songs I feel are, you know, hit or miss. I do enjoy, obviously, You and I. That's one of the harder rocking Davy songs. But I could do without Don't Listen to Linda. Don't really care for that. The Girl I Left Behind Me and A Man Without a Dream are all right. They're not my favorite Monkee tracks, but I don't hate them. And then the Monkees Present, or Present, I don't know exactly how you pronounce that, but I love this album. I know it's, again, you know, the 3 separate Monkees recording in separate studios, again, with separate producers, not being in the same studio at one time, but I really do enjoy the songs on here. I like Little Girl tremendously. I think Good Clean Fun is a great Mike Nesmith country rocker. You know, Mickey's got some good compositions on here. Pillow Time is a song that dates back to the Headquarters sessions when he first demoed that. Mommy and Daddy, a very political statement there from Mickey. Ladies Aid Society, which dates again back to the more of the Monkees, and also Looking for the Good Times also is back from 1966. I believe was when that was originally recorded. So just a solid album. I enjoy this one quite a bit from start to finish. And that was a Rhino repress. You can tell because there's color on the background, and on the Cold Gems it's just all black and white. And then the last studio album from the Monkees for a while, they're now down to two, just Mickey and Davey. You know, this is basically an Andy Kim album that Davey and Mickey traded vocals on, but still has some strong songs on here. I enjoy Oh My My. Ticket on a Ferry Ride, I think has got a nice kind of rolling melody to it. 99 Pounds is a great rocker. I enjoy Midnight Train, which they redubbed on the TV series, which is the first time that I'd ever heard it was on the TV series. I never thought it Peculiar was okay. Acapulco Sun is decent, so I don't hate this album. It's not my favorite. You know, you could tell the Monkees were sputtering to a close, but this, of course, is the Rhino reissue. This is the Monkees Refocus, which is a greatest hits album. It was put out on Bell Records. I'm not sure what year this was from, but it's a fairly standard greatest hits compilation. Monkees Theme, Last Train to Clarksville, She, Daydream Believer, Listen to the Band, Shades of Grey, Pleasant Valley Sunday, I'm Not Your Stepping Stone. And then this was on Arista Records, the Monkees Greatest Hits. I had this on cassette before I had the vinyl copy. And this was the very first Monkees cassette that I ever bought, more greatest hits of the Monkees. And then Rhino picked up the greatest hits series with the Monkees Monkey Business. This is a picture disc. And this is almost like the Beatles rarities from 1980. This is almost the Monkees version of that. It's got some rare takes. It's got an alternate version of Porpoise Song, Star Collector. It collects some B-sides. It's got the D.W. Washburn single, Timid Monkeys, which was a, believe it was Spanish version, oh sorry, Italy. And then just some other different tracks. So I really enjoy this. It's a nice little grab bag of rarities. So this is the side A of the picture disc, and then side B, black and white picture of the Monkees. And then volume 4, Monkey Flips. This has got You Told Me, Teardrop City, I Love You Better. Quite a bit of songs from Changes are on here, like Oh My My. This has got Dream World from Birds of Bees and the Monkees, Circle Sky, Daily Nightly, Gonna Buy Me a Dog. So starting to scrape kind of the bottom of the barrel of the greatest hits there. And then I believe this came out in 1986. This was Then and Now, the Best of the Monkees, which had 3 new songs on here. It had the Anytime, Anyplace, Anywhere, Kicks, and the single that was then, This Is Now. This does have a gatefold. And I think it would have been a better greatest hits if it didn't have the new songs. I don't think the new songs are all that special. Could have stuck on a few more hits or made it a double album, double greatest hits album, and it would have been better. And then the last Monkees album I have is a double disc greatest hits. I think this was available in the 70s on a TV by, order from the TV commercial or something like that. Nothing in the way of liner notes at all. There's not a gatefold, but there are 2 albums here. And this was on the RCA label. So it's got a good selection. This was the first Monkees vinyl that I ever owned. Somebody gave this to me, one of my high school friends. His dad, I believe, had it and didn't have a use for it. And so I was more than happy to own this and quickly put it on cassette. So yeah, it is RCA. There's not even a track listing on the sleeve. It's the same thing on both sides. So that is my Monkees collection. I hope that you've enjoyed it, and I appreciate your comments. Have a great day, and stay safe and well.